and welcome back. My name is Vanessa from Wild Woman Bushcraft, and today you can join me to another solo overnighter in this forest. At this trip I found out something very dangerous, an invisible danger into a forest, in that I thought I knew this forest very good, and I never think that this happened in my forest. What it is and what you have to know, you'll find out in this video. So if you want, stay tuned. Look at this amazing tree mushroom. I think this mushroom that grows here behind me at this dead beech tree is an tinder fungus and tinder mushroom. Sometimes I found strange things in the forest. This looks like a medicine bottle. That looks amazing, how the two trees grow together like a kiss. I found here a fallen dead birch tree. We don't have so much birch trees in my area, and so I'm happy to find it because you can use the bark like a fire starter. It is very easy to make them burn, and I don't want to cut birch that are alive, so I'm very happy that I found here this dead one. Actually, storm came up. I check the weather like every time at home, and I don't know that a storm or a strong wind is coming. So I'm searching for safety here under this old beech tree, because some beech tree had a very massive, very strong wood, and it is the chance that this tree is broken in the storm is very small. Other trees are very dangerous, like the spruce, because spruce had a very how to say, the wood of the spruce is not so massive, and they break in the storm very easy. And if a storm is coming, I always searching for a big and old massive beech tree. Very dangerous are old oaks. Some people think that it is safe to sit under an oak tree in the storm, but the oak had often very big widow makers in the crown. We call it the upper part of the tree we are called crown. I don't know if it is in English exactly like in German. And you always should look up in the tree. Are there some dead massive trees up in the tree? Because these trees are called these branches are called widow makers. In the past it was often the man who is going into the wood to make firewood, and if this man is killed into a storm from a big birch that is fallen down, they call this part of the tree, this birch, widow maker. So there is no guarantee, no safety when a thunderstorm is coming when you are in the forest, but it is in the most times the safest place to sit under a beech tree. And I'm now waiting and checking the weather, if the wind stay or it is going away. When the wind is getting stronger, I will leave the forest and go home, because then it is too dangerous and I had to look for myself, and when it isn't safe here in the forest, I will make an end here. But I will stay here a little bit and check it out. I don't feel safe here anymore. The wind is isn't getting lighter, it is much stronger than before. I know that down here is a creek with a little cave out of stones, and I know that it's there safe. I stayed there overnight for a few months, and I will go down and sitting there till the storm is over. This was curious. I go down this way here and found this whistle. This whistle is mine, and I don't know that I lost it. It must be over 2 or 3 years since I go this way. And now I go again and I found it. It is a little bit damaged here, but this doesn't matter. The whistle works great. Here in this old creek where is no water inside is a little cave that the water grabbed out in the past, and it is there completely dry, and the important point, I be there safe for the storm. There can reach me no fallen branches or trees. Before I build my setup for the night, I will check out with the flashlight those dark parts and make sure that there live no animal, because otherwise it will be not so nice for both parts in the night. It doesn't look so that there is an animal living, so I can build up my setup for the night. Here is my firewood, very much dry wood, perfect. And I am always happy if I can make a bigger fire. Is it not always possible to make on fire in the summer times when it is too dry? It is too dangerous to make on fire sometimes, and so I had sometimes no fire and sometimes only a small fire. But today this place here with all of the stones and rocks is very safe with the sparks, so I can make a bigger fire, and this makes me happy because I think fire belongs to bushcraft, and I'm always happy if I can make a fire at my trips. I will sleep tonight here at this area with the leaves, and later I will build up my sleeping setup. It isn't very much today because I only had a lambskin with me and a sleeping bag, no sleeping pad, and I need no tarp. I only need a tarp if I sleep there outside like I planned, but now I am here and this is also very good. And I also had a lot of wood that I collect now, and I see that up there, up at the creek, the sun came out again. Here is nothing, here is no sun, but up there, and the storm is over, and up there is something that I want to show you because it is very important that you see and that you know it. This is a parasol mushroom. I love it. You can eat the upper piece that looks like an umbrella, and the stem is hard, so you can't eat it like it is. But you can dry it and then make a mushroom powder for the sauce, and it is very, very delicious. I love this mushroom. Here you see an example from what I was talking before. This top of the pine tree is falling down, and you see how big this piece is. And when you imagine that this piece of tree came down from 15-20 meters, you know how hard it fall down here. When I was going here before, when the storm was there, I see something what makes me really afraid, but I had no time to show it to you because of the storm. But now I came back because I wanted to show you, because it makes me really sad. There is some danger in our woods, and at the first sight invisible danger, but it can be very dangerous for all of us, and because of this I want to show you what I mean. What I speak about is dead trees. Not one dead trees, not 5 dead trees. Around of me here are 100 of dead trees. Why? Because we had here an epidemic of the bark beetle, and when I going through this trees before, I hear a noise. It sounds like rain, but when I look around me, I see it is no rain. The noise came from these needles that are laying here everywhere at the ground, and these needles fall down from these trees here around me because all of these trees are dead. The bark beetle occurs worldwide in all foliage and coniferous forests. So this problem is not only here in Germany, it is everywhere at the world. Some species of the bark beetle had a wide range of tree species, but some only 1 or 2 or 3. They are multiply volatile, so they grow up very fast and they've got so many children in such a short time that it is very dangerous for our forests. This beetle can kill forest stands over large areas. Like here in this forest. I knew this forest very good because it is near to my home and I came very often here. But of course not always in the whole forest, only in parts. And this part here is only with one tree species, and down here there are many beech trees and other trees. This is not a monoculture, only up here it is a monoculture. You had everywhere, of course, some trees came into this monoculture, like some beeches, but the most trees here are all the same species. The bark beetle drill into the bark breeding walls for their progeny, for their children, and this kill the tree. Of course not only when there is one beetle, but there are hundreds of beetles that drill into the bark, and then the tree makes a mistake. When the tree had a wound, he wants to protect himself, and he produces resin at this point where the wound is. And normally this resin helps at the wound, but here with the bark beetle it helps not, because when the bark beetle smells the resin, there came more and more and more, because they know that the smell of resin means that there is an ill tree, and everywhere is searching for the easiest way, also the beetle, so they came all to this tree that had this wound and produces the resin. And this is a big mistake, but the tree can't do another thing to protect herself. But why I tell you this? Do you ever seen a forest when there was a forest machine? Not only when they are cutting trees with the motor, so this is in every forest, but in the most forest. But when they came really professional forest machines, the forest look after there was inside like a war, really like a war, and it looks so sad that you won't go inside. And I see here all of those 100 dead trees, and I know that one of my favorite forests will die. The most of these trees up here are die at this moment, and 100 will die too, because the problem, the epidemic of the bark beetle is there. And I knew that it only took a little bit of time till the forest machine came here inside of the wood, and then there is nothing left. It is very sad, but there is no other way to fight against this bark beetle. They try a long time to find anything to kill it biological, but nothing works. And so the only way is going inside of the forest with the forest machines, with the vehicles, the forest vehicles, and cut everything tree out, everything where the bark beetle is inside, and bring them out of the tree, out of the forest, and make with a machine the bark completely away, and then they took on poison over this tree to kill the breed, the eggs, and the bark beetle. And nothing can hold on this here. Nothing, because it is too late. If you are a forest owner, you here in Germany, they must check out the forest from time to time and look, is there anywhere a tree with bark beetle? And when they see one or several trees with bark beetle, they must bring them out so short as it is possible, because when the breed is ready, the ready beetle fly out, and then there are 100 and 100 and 100 more. And the only way is to cut them out of the forest. And then a big part of my forest here, of my favorite forest, is away. And when the forest mechanic vehicles came here, they had so much weight that they put together the earth, and this means that there can't grow in the next 100 years mushroom, because the earth is too compact together. And also it is also very special for other plants to grow there because of this massive compacted earth. And this makes me so sad. And it can happen worldwide. I don't know how massive it is in your home country, but here in Germany it is very, very massive. And I always seen this picture in the television, and I never thought this problem came so fast and so massive here in my home country. Here you can see an example where the resin comes out of the tree, and that you can understand how massive it is. I will tell you an example. One female bark beetle lays in one grieving season 150 eggs, and this produces in 1 year 3 beetle generations. And if there are 2 siblings breeding, this can produce more than 100,000 progeny. 100,000 from one female bark in 1 year. 2003 we had here in Germany a very, very hot summer. We had not enough rain, and many trees are dead after this summer, or they are ill because they get not enough water. And this is perfect for the bark beetle, because then it has an easy way. And 2003 was the year where it got to an epidemic, like a pest. And wind, when there is a wind broke at the trees, it is also good for the bark beetle, or when they break down if we had too much snow. This makes it very easy for the bark beetle. The only thing that we can do, or the forest owners can do, is stop the monoculture and started to make mixed forest with different ages and different species. This is the only thing we can do for the future. And the weather is always getting hotter and hotter all around the world, and this means also that many species are they can't grow in the future because they can't grow with these conditions. It is too hot for the most tree species here in Germany. So they had to find out which species, which tree species can handle with these temperatures, and then they can start to let grow mixed forest. But it is also a danger for all of us, because the most of us can't see that in this forest and that he's walking there are bark beetles and there are dead trees. When it is like here, where are many trees dead and they have no needles, everyone can see, oh, something has happened here. These trees are dead. But in a situation like it was before, I was walking through this forest, and then the storm comes. It is very dangerous because all those trees where the bark beetle is inside can break down very, very easy. And you can't see it at every tree, is there a bark beetle inside or not, because at the beginning, at the start, you can't see it that he is inside. Sometimes you can see it at the ground, that there is something like flavor. This we call this wood flavor. This is from the when they are grabbing into the bark, then this comes outside, this wood flavor. And you can see it sometimes around of the tree. And this is one of the signs that the bark beetle epidemic starts there. And I had always to check up the forest and that I am walking, if it is safe there for walking or not, because every time can come on storm and then it is very dangerous in such a wood. At my camp at the creek, at the little river, there are also many trees with the bark beetle, and I see it for last years that nothing happened, nobody works against it, nobody cut down these trees and bring them out, so the most of the trees there are dead. And every one of us must look more around at the forest, if the forest is ill or not. And it is more and more dangerous for us to stay into the forest when there came a strong wind. And I just want to tell you this. I don't know how it is in your home country. Is it also such a problem like here? But please stay safe and check out the forest and that you are walking. And I want to show you some views around here that you can see what I see, how ill is this forest and how sad it looks. I am not sure if you can see it, but the ground here is covered with thousands and thousands of needles. Everything is full of these green needles. So I speak a lot now, and it is now time to go back to the creek and create the camp. It is getting very much faster down here in the creek as at the top, but it is so. I am happy that I had my sleeping setup ready. It is more than easy today, only the lambskin and the sleeping bag. I expected on soften forest ground, because I thought I sleep anywhere up here, and now I've got the stones and rocks, but I think it is possible to sleep there only with the setup. And I am so happy that I had all my firewood ready there, because now I can direct start with the fire, and then it is very much nicer here with the fire. It is warm and there's light, and I feel more safe with the fire. Of course not every time, because the fire also means hello, here I am, please come and check out what happens there. And you see the fire and nothing around, because around is everything dark, and but you shine out the forest like a star, like an bright and lightning star. So the fire is not always positive and not always good, but when you feel safe in this area and you are not afraid, fire is a good thing. Today I handle it very easy with the fire. You see, I make here a campfire and two of this ring of rocks, and the big branches are only laying here at a rock over this fire, and the only work that I had to do is pull these big branches when they burn away more to the fire. So I don't have to cut it down with the saw. I had no work. It is a very easy kind of fire. Of course, this is only possible if you had an area like here where are only rocks and stones, which is not burnable. If you are in a forest, I don't want to use this kind of fire into a forest. At a creek, river, or something else, an underground like this, it is possible, but I don't want to do this into a forest. This is too dangerous that the area around is also burning. Here inside is my dinner. It is ready cooked, because I don't know if it is possible to make on fire or not, so I like to have something to eat with me that I can eat also cold, but of course warm, it tastes very much better. This is a leg of a pig, and I only had to make it warm now here at the branches that I cut before, directly over the fire. I put it here at this fresh branch and fix it, and then just turn it around till it is brown and crunchy. The meat is so soft then that it is impossible to get a big piece out of it to fix it at the branch. So I had to pull it and make it with this one here warm over the fire. Another way is not possible. So, I am into my sleeping bag now. Behind me burns the fire out. I've put the big branches out and laid it on stone, that the fire don't burn the whole night and maybe getting out of control. So it is everything safe now. And before I made me many thoughts if I can sleep here without sleeping pad, only with the lambskin, because I don't thought that I will sleep at rocks this night. But I think it is possible. My torso, so the middle of the body, is at the lambskin, and this is always the important point, that this is warm and nothing uncomfortable. No, I always say it wrong. I always say uncomfortable, but right is uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. This word is so I always speak it wrong. Okay, so I think it is possible to sleep like this, and the reason why I don't have a sleeping pad with me is that I want to do bushcraft more rustic. Is rustic the right word? Not so much high-tech equipment, back to the roots. And the other point is that I don't want to carry always so much weight in my backpack with me. My backpack is always full, also if I put only the things that I really need, and I will let things at home from time to time to check out if it is possible to go without it outside. Today it is the sleeping pad needs very much space in the backpack. The weight is not so the problem, but the space. And yeah, I think it is also possible to have a good night. Of course not at all of every ground, but I hope it will work. It is so quiet now here. You hear nothing. From time to time some water drops are falling down, but not at my body, only in this end. And from time to time an owl. Woohoo! Woohoo! But nothing else. Noises can be very creepy in the night, but it is also creepy when you hear nothing. Okay, good night.